Before we dive in, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It might seem small, but it's one of the simplest ways you can help push back against what's happening in America right now. This channel is about real stories from real people, ordinary Americans sharing what life under the Trump administration really looks like. If we want more people to hear the truth, we need to beat the algorithm that's keeping these stories buried. So hit that like button, subscribe, and help us reach as many Americans as possible, because silence is not an option.
In the U.S., the traffic has really slowed, and now thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
That means we lose less money, you know? When I see that, that means we lose less money.
Bullshit. Seriously. People are talking about, hey, you know, these guys are worried about losing their jobs because the ships aren't coming to port. There's no new product coming in. And this guy's like, look how much money we're going to save. You have no new product coming in. Yeah, you have stuff on your shelves right now, but with no replenishment product coming in, once that's gone, that's it. And then the retailers are going to scramble and they're going to try to get stuff for their shelves, but they're going to be stuck with whatever they can find from wherever at whatever cost. You're going to have a different availability. You're going to have less selection. You're going to have higher prices, probably. If anything, besides empty shelves. And I think what is really concerning is I have heard Trump and Bessent say that they aren't concerned with empty shelves. And yeah, rich guys aren't going to be concerned because it's not going to be the rich guys that are affected. It's always the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, who rely on the cheaper items being available on the shelf. They're the ones that are going to suffer because they can't afford the more expensive options that are going to be the only option if the cheaper stuff sells through, because no new stuff is coming from China. I mean, that's what I see happening. Trump was talking about, he was bragging about how ships were doing U-turns at sea because, you know, nobody wanted to pay the tariff. So you're not bringing in any new product. How do you not see empty shelves when you're not bringing in any new product? It would be different if any of them came forward and said, you know what, you don't have to worry about empty shelves because we've already, you know, hooked the retailers up with an alternative supply. That hasn't happened. They just keep saying, no, it's not a worry. Don't worry about it. Trust us. Trust us. You have to trust Trump. Don't worry. It's just going to be a little bit of medicine for a little bit. You only have, you know, $2 instead of $30. But it's not a concern. And it's not about fucking dolls. It isn't about what kind of dolls or how many dolls you have. It is about the least expensive option being available on the shelf for the people who that's their only option. What are they going to do? I'm just saying, most of the time, the stores, like the discount stores, like the dollar stores and stuff, they're the ones who are buying the most from China. There's a lot of people who rely on buying from those stores because, like, that's their only option. But tell me if you disagree. Do you believe the guys that say, hey, trust me, it's the other countries that pay tariffs, which isn't factually correct, but trust me anyways, trust me, it'll be fine. We're going to be so rich. Like, I don't think it's going like that, but tell me if you disagree.
Guys, there really are going to be empty shelves and goods we cannot get within the next couple of weeks, and it's only going to get worse over the coming months. Here's the deal. The last ships from China are arriving in the coming days. They're not going to be sending anymore. They're not. And other countries have already said, hey, we're not going to send medical supplies. So now we're looking at potentially hospitals going back to COVID-era protocols of postponing or no elective procedures at all because they need to prioritize medications and equipment for the most critically ill patients. Rationing care. And it angers me because this is completely avoidable and completely self-inflicted, and it's going to hurt those who can least stand any suffering, the poorest and the sickest among us. And as a person with a human soul, that bothers me. And I'm doing what I can for myself and my family. If you are able to pick up some extra staples like flour or boxes of cereal, canned goods, rice, dry beans, household cleaners, some over-the-counter medications, just to have like cold meds, you know, Tylenol, Advil, things like that. Do it if you can. Go to the dollar store. They have them there. I checked. I was at Dollar Tree yesterday picking up a few things. Seriously, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a little extra backstop. And I know some people are like, I can't even do that. And that's going to be the reality across this country. And it's only going to get worse because not only is the supply not going to be coming in, what we do have and what we do manufacture here, the costs are only going to continue to rise.
Start stocking up on some of your basic necessities. Don't overstock, but stock up. Here's some of the things you should stock up on if you don't know what you need to stock up on. Toiletries, batteries and chargers. Stock up on some of your shelf-stable basics. Rice, oats, mashed potatoes, canned goods, vegetables, beans. Basically, your canned goods like tuna, canned chicken, stuff like that. If you eat that stuff, stock up on it. Stock up on your lentils, flour, sugar. Not that bad sugar though. Get you some agave, honey, maple syrup. Something a little bit healthier than that white sugar. I know some people say stop spreading fear, but take it as you may. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. It's always good to be aware. Be aware of what's going on. And right now, you need to be aware. Them shelves are getting empty. Why are they getting empty? Because of tariffs. Go out here and get yourself prepared. That's all.
Just hear me out, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. I don't care how you voted. I got family and friends on both sides. It doesn't matter to me. We all have to coexist. All I care about is feeding and clothing and sheltering my family and maybe not going broke doing it. I just went shopping in a very Republican part of my state and saw how crowded the stores are getting right now. Couldn't help but think, if they are making women who've gotten married and changed their names re-register to vote, and people with autism register their medical condition, and all of this invasiveness in the interest of being fair and good, then if you voted for this administration because it's what you wanted and you believe that this is the right path, and you think that he is playing 4D chess and he is the Jedi master of the art of the deal, if everything is going according to plan, then Walmart and Costco and Target and other supermarkets who want to should make their own registry. And if you voted for him, now that the ports are going empty and the shortages are coming, then if you put this plan in motion, you get to eat last. In a couple of weeks, when the shelves are barren and everything is incredibly expensive, then at least the people who didn't ask for this should get first picks. Why are the lines so long in this area if people aren't going to put their money where their mouth is? We traded expensive eggs for expensive everything. I do wish everyone well. I hope that we can get through this somehow, united, growing from this, learning from this, coming out on the other side okay. But it is funny that I have to wait behind so many of you in line. People who apparently wanted exactly this. Good luck, everyone.
It's really crazy to me that people aren't freaking out about the fact that basically all American stores are going to be empty in like 5 or 6 weeks, just because our president's tariffs essentially doubles anything that's not from America in price, meaning that any sensible business owner could not buy any foreign good to sell anymore, right? So what does that mean? That means that the stores are just going to be empty. Okay, people are panic buying stuff because they know this is coming and they're not going to have anything to replace it. All we have is our American companies, and American companies just do not cover the full range of stuff that America buys. Okay, and given the fact that the president is actively bullying companies for informing their customers about why things are going to be more expensive, everything's just going to be empty and no one's going to understand why. So I'm telling you now, and I'm also telling you, if you have any kind of savings whatsoever, don't save up for the vacation, save up for like toilet paper, canned foods, and things like that, because America's going to have nothing pretty soon.
These are the items that will most likely be affected by the tariffs and empty shelves. It's not likely going to be the same thing as COVID where we run out of toilet paper. But if we do, it's going to be for the same reason, buyer panic. So they're going to hoard things faster than that the suppliers can supply it. a lot of paper products are made domestically. Same thing with things like dog food, cereal, corn syrup. So you're not going to have to worry about those so much, but again, buyer panic. The things that are most likely going to be affected are things like consumer electronics, cell phones, car parts, vehicles, because even though it might be assembled in the United States, a lot of things are brought in, aluminum, steel, parts that go into the components of the thing, which will make it much more expensive and much harder to get, or not at all, and whatever inventory is left is all we have. Things like building supplies come from a lot of places, because what kind of trees do we have here that isn't in a national park? It's already gone. It comes from other parts of the world, and if those ships stop shipping them, we don't have lumber anymore. So things like building supplies, furniture, all of that's going to be affected. A lot of the fast fashion and inexpensive fashion comes from China. So a lot of the cheap things you might get at Walmart or inexpensive clothing stores, all of those are going to they're going to get hit hard. Seasonal items are also produced in the same way like fast fashion. It's quick turnaround. So 4th of July, any holiday items, a lot of those things are manufactured in bulk and brought into the United States in shipping containers. Those will get hit hard too. A large quantity of the toys that you see in your toy section are produced again in China. So all of that will be affected as well. A lot of generic drugs and pharmaceuticals are also going to be affected. So over-the-counter generics, things like Band-Aids, a lot of those things are produced in mass. So again, anything that's very inexpensive is going to get much more expensive. The last thing is food items, anything that is not seasonal. So there is a apple season, there is an orange season, but we get it year round because we are bringing it in from other countries that are in the opposite hemisphere. So when it's summer here or spring here, it's winter there. When it is ungrowable here, it will grow there and we ship it in. So those will be heavily affected by the lack of shipping.
Go to a big box store, empty shelves.
Really?
100%.
I really think part of the problem right now is like everything seems so fine.
Yeah, everything is fine for now, right? Imagine like you're watering your garden or something and somebody shuts off the water. You won't notice the instant they do it necessarily, right? There's still water draining out of the hose. Some products, it could be as soon as 4 weeks. Others, it'll be weird. It'll be like 6 months from now. People will be like, what? Suddenly I can't get that?
I mean, the Trump administration has tried to frame what's about to happen in terms of excess. Like they keep talking about dolls. Maybe little girls will have to have just 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls, which really makes this about choice and things you might get for pleasure. Is that the right framing here?
No, that's a delusional framing. It's just no other polite way to put it. We're not, as journal reporters, we're not supposed to editorialize, but like that is, I'm not editorializing when I say that is detached from reality. That's just a fact.
I do not know what they are talking about 3 weeks out of not having anything on our shelves. Because guess what? On the Aina, it's been weeks of no eggs. I couldn't get cheese. Any kind of cheese. Okay? In Hawaii, we're hurting. That's the truth. There's no 3 weeks out on, I guess, the mainland. We're out.
Over my shoulder here, I'm looking out at the Port of Seattle right now, and we currently have no container ships at berth. And that happens every once in a while in normal times, but it is pretty rare. And so to see it tonight is, I think, a stark reminder that the impacts of the tariffs have real implications. It means that we don't have longshore workers on the dock right now unloading merchandise. We don't have trains taking that merchandise to inland ports and all the way across the country to places like Des Moines, Iowa, and Chicago, Illinois. And that's hundreds of jobs right here in our region and across the country.
You have none at your port right now?
We currently do not have any container ships at port right now. That's correct.
And that's because just nothing is being shipped over? I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Well, it is. It's pretty unusual. We do anticipate, I was looking at our schedule, we anticipate about 25 vessel calls between here and the port of Tacoma over the next 7 days. And keep in mind, we're not just importing from Asia or just China. We do have activity from all over the world, largely the Pacific Rim, but we are seeing a significant drop in container volume through our gateway.
You said this is rare. I mean, can you think of the last time that this happened, that you didn't have any of them coming in at your port?
Probably the height of the pandemic was the last time I saw it, before we really started to see the surge in cargo towards the end of the pandemic.